Hi, everyone. This week is the 28th week in Ordinary Time. Ordinary Time is green because we are growing in our understanding of Jesus and his teachings. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. On his way to Jerusalem, Jesus went along the border between Samaria and Galilee. As he was going to a village, 10 men with leprosy came toward him. They stood at a distance and shouted, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us!" Jesus looked at them and said, "Go show yourselves to the priests." On their way, they were healed. When one of them discovered that he was healed, he came back shouting praises to God. He bowed down at the feet of Jesus and thanked him. The man was from the country of Samaria. Jesus asked, "Weren't 10 men healed? Where are the other 9? Why was this foreigner the only one who came back to thank God?" Jesus told the man, "You may get up and go. Your faith has made you well." The Gospel of the Lord. In this week's Gospel, Jesus is traveling on the border between his home area of Galilee and the neighboring area of Samaria. At that time, the people in Galilee and Samaria did not like each other. If Jesus was along the border, he was in a place where neither group wanted to be. So who did he find? He found some people who needed to get away from everyone else, so they went where no one wanted to be. They were men with leprosy, which means they had a skin disease that was not only painful, but also made other people avoid them because they didn't want to catch it. The lepers had very difficult lives that were made even more difficult by being excluded. The lepers called out to Jesus to heal them, and he told them to show themselves to the priests so they could be restored to the community. On the way to the priests, they discovered they were already healed. One of the lepers ran back to Jesus to thank him. It turns out he was from Samaria. Jesus asked why the others didn't thank him, especially since the others should have been more likely to like him since they were also from Galilee. Well, it turns out we can't tell someone's heart just based on where they're from. Turns out the person from Samaria had a more grateful heart. Do you ever stop to think about how Jesus has helped you? Are we grateful enough to shout praises to God like the leper? Do we even stop to think enough about what God has done for us to realize it's worth shouting about? Even though all the lepers were healed, only one thanked God. Would you be the one who turned back and thanked God, or one of the 9 who didn't? Jesus told the man his faith made him well. Wow! Wasn't it Jesus who made him well? Yes, of course. But remember in the story, they realized they were healed while they were on their way to see the priests. So they had already started following Jesus' instructions, trusting that when they got to the priests, they would be healed. But in fact, they were healed already after they started taking the first steps. They were healed as they had faith in Jesus. The same is true of us. When we pray to God for help and we start taking steps, we can find that God has already taken care of the rest for us. Imagine praying to be more loving to someone who bothers you. Taking one little step, like smiling to say hello, and you discover God has already healed you because it turns out you're able to be more loving to that person. If we start to take one step toward God, he does the rest for us. Amazing. Let's follow the leper, take one step towards God, and shout praises when God does the rest.